Welcome to yet another Zelda 1 Randomizer Random Percent 2020 tournament match. Tonight between Saver and Chessjerk, two titans of some previous tournaments. This is going to be a good one for sure. I am HN, Adaginos, however you want to call it. I'm joined tonight by KTAP4321 with CCX in the background tracking. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well tonight. I'm just excited that I got on this match. There's so much going on because there's not only this race but the other races. I'm also excited because Saber is a beast and so is Chessjerk. I've seen them both from previous tournaments. They've done well. So I'm excited to see how this match is going to turn out. You have any predictions, wants, callings, anything you want to see?
Here's what I'll say. These two are two of my favorite people to race against. I've raced against them both many of occasions. They're both really good at the game, and this is going to be awesome. I honestly want them both to win because I'd like to play them both. So it'll be. But we do have the countdown, and we are getting ready to go here. Hopefully my mic's not cutting out.
Your mic is good. So, chat, is there anything you're looking forward to tonight or hoping will happen?
What a terrible starting location. But we start with a wand and a recorder. Interesting start. And we have a boomstick on the start screen.
Well, that's good news.
And it is Recorder to Unbeaten Dungeons. Wow.
Now that's just good luck right there.
It looks like we got some second quest overworld shenanigans going on.
And we see some Lionels.
Hey, and we know what dungeons they are, so we do not have to guess. It'll be interesting to see here when Saber will check that recorder. Looking for some bombs, probably heading to the start screen to get a wood sword, which is a good call. Even starting with a wand, it never hurts to have a... Gets a candle, that can be useful.
That blue candle is useful because we do not have any money yet in the seed. We don't know whether it's going to be a poverty seed or a money seed.
Yeah, and chances are this is going to be second quest, level 5.
Oh, so we know something tonight. We know that White Sword and Master Sword are turned off because they were replaced with bomb upgrade.
Yeah, which means finding that wood sword is going to be important if Ganon is in fact required.
You know, you made some comments about the broomstick earlier. Is it just me, or have all the seeds I commentated so far always had the boomstick? It is popping up more and more.
Oh, it's first quest 5.
There's our wood sword, speaking of it. And for those of you who don't know, the boomstick is a special type of mod in this randomizer because our Lord and Savior / creator, Fred, made it so when you get certain items are switched up, so when you have the wand and you get the book in that case, it will just fire unlimited bombs.
And Saber gets his sword. He's going to check all of these whistle spots as well. Level 5 actually playing a little bit of trickster here because it has the second quest color, but it actually is first quest 5. So first quest 1 through 6 at the very least is kind of nice for these guys.
Yes, but let's hope they do not get it second quest 7 through 9 because while that 9 is nice, 7 and 8 are quite brutal in second quest. Though I wouldn't say they're not brutal in first. 9 just has a lot of stairs in first.
Indeed it does. In fact, it has has 14 staircases, which is quite a bit. As we find level 7, and this looks an awful lot like, well, it can't be second quest 7. This is first quest 7, so it's either shapes or first quest, which is nice. No second quest to deal with this time around.
A seed without second quest? Color me shocked.
Yeah, it's been pretty prevalent overall. I mean, it's obviously watcher's bias, but still.
But we see Chessjerk taking a transport staircase in 5 and ending up towards that head, though is stuck with a key block. Unless he can bomb down.
To answer your question in chat from Star 1461 or 681, shapes is actually where the game has been programmed by Fred to create random shapes. It builds from the bottom up and will create a map. The maps are shared with dungeons 1 through 6, and then 7 and 8 have a block, and level 9. So if we have shapes on the back half, 7 and 8 will be mirror images of each other. I guess it'd be shadow images, rather, not mirror images. And then 9 will have its own little block, so it's pretty cool.
Is it just me, or did I miss it when Saver got that power bracelet somewhere?
It was at its vanilla spot, so that doesn't tell him a whole lot of information about what's going on. But does finally get a bomb drop from a blue moblin, so that's good then.
Though, thank you, chat. We know the recorder song is Jingle Bells. For those of you who are not in the know about, the recorder tune can be changed to all different types of songs, stuff from everything.
This is definitely First Quest 8, so we have got a full set of First Quest dungeons today. With a pretty killer palette to boot.
So far, the text has been changing, so I don't think the book is going to be used as a translator today.
Yeah, and we don't have 0 HP enemies either, so Boomstick actually has a use. And they know where it's at, so, you know, it's one of those things where you gotta be thinking about saving up for... And that's not super useful.
But also you have... Oh, that. Let's just ignore that. Carry on.
Looks like we do not have shuffle drop rooms. Unless there's just been that really, really odd chance that the red dark nuts and the blue moblins did not shuffle out. And that is the normal location for that heart drop.
So,
which
is that
means I think we have got Triforces in their regular rooms.
Just a quick question. Is the metal boomerang normally found in 8 or magical boomerang?
It is not, but that heart drop that was the Gleeok room from level 8, and that's the normal boss room. So if Heart Shuffle is in fact on, they know to clear only the boss rooms for those particular items.
And while we were watching some other stuff, we saw Saver take a death and is going back to fight these dark nuts through these shutters room. And we see the rafts in level 8.
Well, not particularly useful unless level 9 happens to be on a raft location.
Well, at least Saver could dig for keys.
Yeah, definitely needs some. Level 4 being pretty helpful with the Chessjerk here, giving him some keys. Looks like he just ran into the Chevy room there in the dark, was unable to walk by.
That's unfortunate.
So this is a ladder block to level 4.
But that is also good information to have.
Well, it'll key him into one fact, and that's, he's seen some other drops already, but if your level 4 is ladder block, that means that the ladder is not in level 4, most likely. You haven't found it in the first few rooms, which means you do have shuffled dungeon drops, which is a pretty important key hint to pick up.
We just saw Dig Dogger just chilling out, and we're going to see some more exploration of 8 by Saver.
Level 1 here for Chessjerk. That's a good one to go to. And we did see Ganon's room as well, which means that Zelda is going to be a little bit more difficult to find in hide and seek, which is good.
Yes, but we also have to remember, is Ganon required or not?
Well, even if he's not, you can't just use vertical exploration in level 9 now, because she can be any direction. She can be through a bomb wall, she can be through a shutter door that opens from killing enemies, so she can be anywhere if Ganon's not required. And it makes exploration for her a little bit more difficult, because you can't just walk up and down, because she can be accessed from any direction.
And we see some blue gorillas here in level 1. And without wands, they are just falling like flies. And Chessjerk gets rewarded for that with a key. And I'm just wow, because Chessjerk's gotten 4 keys so far. That's quite a lot for this early in the season. Make that 5. And on the other hand, we just saw Saver get his Triforce out of 8.
Yeah, I'm sure he's glad to find that, not have to deal with key doors and such anymore. I still hate Book. Well, I don't know about it in this seed. And that's one of those things where exploring a little bit here might be useful. If you just go to the dungeons, you're not likely to get the money for that book. And the boomstick in this, when you run into later on the whiz ropes, maybe you have a lot of HP. You've only got a wood sword to work with, so trying to find those large secrets and such can actually be pretty useful.
Well, that large secret is vanilla, so we're gonna have to check if the other secrets will reveal if the money secrets are vanilla or not, because that is also a flag. And we see Saber entering level 1.
And, well, that's not useful.
Yep. So what happens if someone who already possesses the recorder, per se, would collect that duplicate recorder?
So to kind of address a question in chat about Zelda's room and Ganon's room, it's a separate flag from everything else. And with the way that these flags are oriented, dungeon rooms are always shuffled. So it's never possible to have straight up vanilla rooms at every dungeon in their regular configuration, which is usually the flag that will override having Ganon and Zelda shuffle. So while we have drops in their original spots, which this room is going to be an item, there it is, it's the boomerang, which is in its original spot, which is really funny. So again, if this were my first dungeon and I saw that, I would assume that all drops were going to be in their regular spot, because the chances of the boomerang rolling into its original location are extremely low when you have item shuffle on. But with that, the items are not shuffled as far as like some things, but the drops are moved around, but they're in their original rooms, which has nothing to do with the room configurations themselves.
Is that just me, or is this level 1 kinda vanilla?
That was pretty ridiculous, because I think that's the original room that it's supposed to be into.
So, as we see, Chessjerk is still grinding up on keys. Saber just grabs the Triforce and is most likely going to dip out of that one. Or go back in.
He's gonna search for this last item, which is unfortunately the recorder.
And we see Saber taking a death in that same room Chessjerk took a death in earlier. Those gorillas are not being nice tonight.
So Saber doing a little bit of exploration around, which is, again, not a bad choice. Looking for some rupees, maybe looking for an extra heart container. We also may possibly need the White Sword Cave. It could contain an item, since we do have some shuffled things. It could contain a ladder, a bow, the silvers. There's some things that can be there as well. Still have to find level 9 also. So checking out a few places in between while you're there, especially since you can't whistle back to those dungeons, since it's whistle to unbeaten dungeons, you can't whistle back to it. So checking some caves next to it while you're there is not necessarily a bad choice.
Though we do see on Chessjerk's side so far, it looks like level 7 is kind of ladder blocked unless we have a bomb to help us. And Saber just found level 4.
Yeah, so Saber kind of repeating what Chessjerk's already done. He's going to find out that this is also ladder blocked. He will at least pick up a few keys here in the meantime, which is nice. But it seems like in this particular flag set, we need to figure out where the ladder is. Perhaps level 6?
Maybe it's on... Oh, wait. I'd say it's on the coast, but I realize it can't be on the coast. Maybe it's the white sword item.
I mean, it could be, and that's, again, why... These guys have to find level 9 regardless, so while they can whistle to all of these dungeons, you still have to explore the overworld at some point to find level 9. So, doing a couple, like Saber is doing, checking out a couple of caves here and there, isn't necessarily a bad choice. And again, you could run into that white sword item, which, like you said, could be the one. And TA, good night, set up another good point, TA909. Welcome back, by the way. Nice to see you, buddy. Important items could be a 9. So, you know, bow could be a 9. If ladders don't necessarily block the Triforces, which in this case they do since 4 is ladder blocked.
And 7.
You know, ladder could be a 9. So, that is another flag that's 50-50. Doesn't necessarily come into play too often, but sometimes that could be a possibility.
Well, we know for sure that ladder is not 9, but what the seed is telling us by having at least 2 Triforces blocked by a ladder is that it's going to be found somewhat soon, and is definitely required.
Level 3 at top of the waterfall. Requires a key to get into. Definitely level 3.
Can Saber not pirouette that key door?
No, it's up at the waterfall, so there's no way to scroll around and do that, unfortunately.
The more you know.
Up at the top of the waterfall, rather. It's not like the actual waterfall screen. It's where the vanilla white sword cave is. Alright, so Chessjerk can head back into 7. And there's the heart container in its normal room. So it looks like we do not have Heart Shuffle on unless... I mean, I say that. We've had 2 hearts in their original room, so...
Is that the original room in 3?
There's a ladder.
Speaking of the ladder...
So good dip in by Saber. Didn't need that dungeon because we started with the Triforce. But it's quick, it's easy, and it nets him a ladder, which gives him access to level 4. Level 7.
Well, that's really good news on Saber's part, because I wonder how long it's going to take Chessjerk to get there, because I know runners normally do not go into dungeons they already have the Triforce for beforehand.
Here's the other thing that you have to consider. They started with the 3 Triforce, so he cannot whistle to level 3's location. He has to physically walk there. So he has to go check out the waterfall and go up there and check the vanilla white sword cave to even find that dungeon at all. So there's a pretty big find on Saber's case just poking around. Kind of netted him the item that's needed to complete some... or 1-up.
Speaking of Saber, he just found level 5. And with a Goma there to greet him.
And I think he's picked up on the rooms specifically, which is why you see him flying through here. It could do him some benefit to clear a couple of rooms to grab some keys, but you see him just flying through the dungeon because he knows my Triforce is going to be in the Triforce room, and I need a staircase now in order to get my item. And if I want to get my hands on the heart, it's going to be in a 4 fireball room, which I think was the 4 Goma room he left behind. Or not Goma, but Korea room. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a heart, so. Keys, however, are becoming an issue.
And with that luck, as Chessjerk also finds a large secret of 100. Oh, that's good news for both of the runners.
Oh, hi.
So...
yeah, so...
why, hello there.
So if I'm Saber, and I understand the flags at least a little bit of what it should be, there's a 50% chance that the bow and silvers are automatically rolled into level 9. I know that all my Triforces are in their Triforce room. I need some keys, but outside of that, I'm just going to grab Triforces and fly like crazy to find level 9, because there's a really high chance the silvers are there, and I don't need any other items out of the dungeons.
And plus, with knowing the layout for first quest, they'll be able to fly through 9 if we don't get trapped by enemy staircases. After all, level 9 is Saber's house. And we see Chessjerk taking up some dig doggers in 8.
Yeah, Chessjerk trying to find the stuff here at level 8 as Saber did. There's not a whole lot here that's of use, but, you know, gotta get the
And we see Saber finally stocking up on keys. But knowing the luck with key-heavy seeds, once they get a lot of them, the any key is going to be found.
I would say that that is a truthful hint. So it's likely the any roads are what take up the bush blocks. I guess it could still be at the grave spot. That counts as a feat of strength, but useful information nonetheless. Which means if we do have hints on, which it seems like we do, once you get into level 9, as long as the old men are not replaced with the meat block, there might actually be a hint for the silvers and a hint for the princess and Ganon. So there's a lot of things that are available as he gets the compass here, which is over in the far wing. So there's a lot of helpful information that can come out of that. It could still be deceptive hints, but at the very least, that one seems to be true.
And there are just bombs laying around everywhere. I think, is it even worth getting the boomstick at this rate with the amount of bomb supply?
It'll depend. With the way that this is set up, both of these guys are very likely to go into level 9 with very few hearts. So if you end up with a lot of really tough Wizrobe combat, not that these guys aren't fantastic, because they're both really good at combat, but you can get some really bad rooms or some bad rooms in succession where the boomstick could be useful just because Wizrobes are Wizrobes and they have 5 hearts. And they're stuck with a wood sword because we saw the bomb upgrades were there. So, and we do see that the book is actually in more than one shop, so a little bit easier to access without having to go back to start. Access, not excess.
But we still haven't found the item, the shield, in one of the dungeons.
Money, money!
And we still see Chessjerk continuing to dig 8. Oh, I think he's going to be real disappointed when all he's going to have to scrounge up is that raft.
I do wonder, though, if Saver will buy the boomstick with his current key situation. 2 keys isn't a whole lot. It might be one of those things he waits till later to pick up, just because keys can really hamper you. 2 is not a good number to go into level 9 with. You can definitely run out pretty quick.
While we have seen the bomb upgrades in the overworld, we have not seen any in the dungeons yet.
That is true. It could be that they're in their original dungeons as well. So Saber doing some keen exploration here. Needs to, anyways. Like I said, gotta find level 9, and then worry about finishing the dungeons afterward. And I think at the same time, you explore the overworld here for your money. You go buy a boomstick. That gives you some firepower to deal with these dark nuts, and we haven't seen Wizrobes yet, so there's guaranteed to be one set outside of level 9 that's Wizrobes, and we haven't seen that yet. So you might as well, if you can, go out, find your money, get a boomstick, make those way faster by being able to just blow them up in the face.
What the heck? Why is Chessjerk going back in? He already has that Triforce out of 8 and already has seen the 2 items.
Well, there's 3 items in level 8. He may not have seen the floor drop or the second staircase item.
True. And we see Saver finally getting the book and achieving Well, we already had literacy. It might finally reveal the shapes of the dungeons, though that isn't really much of use since we know their first quest.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I think this is a really good call. What this also does for Saber is while he's in a dungeon, because Saber uses pause, he doesn't use select swap. So he does lose, it's I think 2.5 seconds every time he swaps an item. So with being stuck on a wood sword, you want to obviously swap to a wand in order to do better combat. Well, this lets him double up on that and just skip bomb walls, and he can kill things super fast at the same time.
And now Saber's just destroying this level 4. Those dark nuts and Gyptos are falling to him like they're just cheese.
Chessjerk making his way over here. Unfortunately, the Triforce was in the far west side, and he has not picked that up yet. And it will be one of the last rooms he heads to, so he's got to clear this out to get over there, and then he can start making his way to these other dungeons. But again, the real thing that we got to... Oh, and there's all the key problems gone, so Saber in fly-in mode now. Just get to level 9.
Saber's practically in. He's in Schrodinger's go mode.
I mean, the big thing here is that ladder in level 3, and how long will it take for Chessjerk to pick that location to check. It's not something you go to early most of the time, so we'll see how that ends up working.
Saber's just flying through this seed, and we see Chessjerk pick up their Triforce out of 8.
Yeah, so for Saber now, he knows that the only thing he needs to look for in a dungeon is a staircase and a Triforce room. So level 6, staircase or Triforce room. Level 7, staircase or Triforce room. You don't clear anything else unless you have to, because you don't need any of the drops. You don't need keys, you don't need bombs, and you know that the item on the floor is going to be a heart. So he could just literally jet the rest of this, and then he just has to find level 9.
And well, there's also... Level 9 is also known as the Great Equalizer, because for all we know, Level 9 could throw Saber in a wild goose chase, but I doubt that for Saber.
Oh, we have a mixed quest overworld. How pretty.
And here's level 6, just sitting here. You know, thinking about it, all Saber needs just to really, really run through the seed, besides those silvers practically being a 9, would be that red ring.
Yeah, it would be nice with the low level of hearts, but obviously not something that you're going to spend too much time checking out to get. And like I said, you can see him just flying through the rooms. He's picked up on the details of this flag set. You don't need to do really anything but find the Triforce or staircase rooms. Meanwhile, Chessjerk gonna find a lot of these ladder blocks and has to find level 3 is really where he's at in order to progress too much in the seed.
I just noticed. Chessjerk doesn't have a candle and just turned down the blue candle in a take any cave for a heart.
Well, so far and I mean that can come back to bite him because level 9 could be under a bush. But he's, I believe, whistled to every single dungeon thus far, and none of them are under a bush location. So as of right now, he doesn't actually need to have a candle.
But you never. First of all, we haven't seen any. Oh, he does have a blue. Thank you, chat.
But he might want a sword, which he hadn't gotten yet.
You know, we haven't seen any shoot rooms tonight yet.
Yeah, this boomstick doing work, just letting Saber fly through. And this is actually a ladder block dungeon as well, so you can't go into level 6 and go anywhere. You can't go into level 7. You can't go into level 4. And I don't think you can get through level 5 either. So basically that's going to put up a red flag for Chessjerk that, hey, I have to find one of these dungeons that I have gotten the Triforce for, which I cannot whistle to, in order to find this ladder, or I need to find the white sword cave.
And we just saw a shield as the item in 6. And Saber's just gonna fly through this 6 and pick up that Triforce.
Yeah, it looks like vanilla any roads, which we got a hint earlier in a dungeon that said a feat of strength is not required to save the princess, which is a pretty big indicator that we have vanilla any roads. I'm pretty sure that's a helpful hint. The only other spot it could be would be the graveyard, and you don't need the power bracelet for that, but it does count as a feat of strength. So like I said, when we get to level 9, we'll see if we run into some hints and if that makes any difference or not, as far as Silver's location and other things like that.
So, on another note, I think the hints are secrets are vanilla in this case, because we have a 10 small secret, a 30 mid secret, and 100 large secret.
Yeah, that is correct. Boy, this item room and Triforce in level 6 are playing hide-and-go-seek pretty well.
It's just gauntlet of enemies after gauntlet of enemies. Saber's just so good with combat. He's on 1 heart and still taking these enemies down like a champ.
Yeah, this is where the power of the boomstick really comes in, because getting through all these shutter door rooms that he's dealing with right now would be monstrously more difficult to do with the wood sword and 6 hearts. And he's just blowing them all up. Nobody can. Oh, we found an item. Thank you, Jacob. I missed that. I guess I did. I saw the shield. You're correct.
And we see Saber getting that Triforce out of 6 and is probably going to make a mad dash for that 7. Luckily, Saber knows where 7 is.
Yeah, I gotta check a couple of spots here too. Again, he's here. You might as well check. He's gotta find level 9. It is a mixed quest, which makes this a little bit more interesting, a little bit more varied on where you have to check.
Am I allowed to predict that this will be a sub 40 seed?
It's very likely to be so. The only thing that could stop that is if silvers are required for Ganon, and they are not in level 9. That could slow it down a little bit. And he still has to find level 9. He's still probably got 3/4 of the overworld to check, as we see a compass. And we'll turn right around and walk back to the right.
Wow, just wow.
And again, Boomstick just proving its ridiculous usefulness here. Got Whiz Robes, doesn't matter. That's also Alchementus's room with another heart container, so nice pickup. Staircase, gonna check this. This could be the item. How cool would that be? Heart item right into the Triforce. Game's not so nice.
But the game has been so far so nice, so while it is a transport staircase, I'm hoping we're saving that item staircase stuff for when we get into level 9.
7 gonna make you go up and around, or is it a staircase? That would be interesting.
That would be evil.
Unfortunately not. Forced Rupee boss, though. Those are the best.
And we have a reverse serum over here. And we see Chessjerk finding, I think, the last of the take any's and is getting a heart container.
So we were talking about Boomstick being really good. This room is ridiculous. And I can't imagine navigating it without a Boomstick. And pause strats. His pause strats are going to make this really easy as well, but...
I mean,
yeah.
Without the Boomstick or red ring in this room, this just looks like a nightmare.
Run, Saber, run! Chessjerk in level 2, which is, I believe, a dungeon they started with. It has a red candle, which means that the silvers are not in level 2 either. So at this point, I believe that leaves...
That guarantees silvers are in 9 or 7.
Yeah, 9 or 7. And the chances are pretty high that they're in level 9.
And Saber, with half a heart, makes it to that Triforce room and is going to grab his final Triforce out of 7 and is going to probably start the search for level 9.
Yeah, very well navigated. That was not a very nice room to have to deal with. Meanwhile, Chessjerk's still checking out level 2. I think he realized that hearts are probably in their normal rooms, and he found the only drop in there, and he doesn't need the Triforce. So all 3 things indicating to get the heck out of Dodge. He is making a loop up towards that direction, of where level 3 is at. It's going to take him a little bit to get there, but he's kind of on that winding path.
So now it's just gonna be a wild goose chase for where's level 9, and we just saw some hints over on Chessjerk's screener. Some nicely priced, some a little more expensive.
It's also important to note that in Mixed Quest, level 7 and level 2's locations are both going to be lakes. Obviously level 7 is, but level 2 will always be a lake mixed, and they will both open with a recorder. So you need to check both of them.
And we see Chessjerk on the Vanilla 9 screen on the overworld.
He up an aid there from Monocle Rock, which is unfortunate. Oh, he has money for Boomstick, so I understand why, but that's going to actually take him away from the route that he needed to find level 3.
Oh no!
But I mean, that's Boomstick. You can't say no to Boomstick when you have it.
But that ladder.
Yeah, but now he's going to go towards the grave, and he's going to be going the wrong direction. So he could almost, I guess he's okay. So he's going to go back this way. Because he could almost last location that it's a really one-off spot. Meanwhile, Saver's still not finding level 9. You would think he would know where it's at when he lives there.
I know. Did he just forget his way home or something?
Oh no, I think Chessjerk is going to do a wrap around here.
Though, looking back on what we've seen so far, the thing that opened the seed was the ladder, because once Saver got the ladder, everything else fell in place.
Oh, for sure. Level 9 seems to be probably up on Death Mountain. Or it could be one of those fabled raft spots. Maybe it'd be kind of cool.
If level 9 is a raft spot, I'm going to laugh.
It's one of those items you find and you're like, well, I don't really need that. It's not super helpful, but you know, there are opportunities for that to happen. So Chessjerk doing the long loop here. The hope is that he will walk towards the waterfall. I mean, the best thing that could happen to him is he runs out of bombs on his way through the little trek here up towards the Death Mountain area, and he makes the trek towards level 3.
Oh, we found the any roads.
Yeah, they are vanilla. So I think Saver skipped this cave. Buy a hint, do it.
I mean, that 58 hint looks pretty nice. Wait, I just realized he's broke for a bit.
Alright, so Chessjerk uses the whistle to go back up towards the northeast, so this is actually going to help him a lot. Oh, level 9 under the whistle bush by start.
You called it!
Here we go!
Are you a witch? Because I'm gonna have to burn you for predicting that level 9 under a bush.
Hey, you know what? It wouldn't be the first time, and Saver is the first to say burn me, so it's okay.
Well, I guess I can say it was under a shrubbery.
I mean, to be fair, calling level 9 under a bush is pretty high odds, but...
I'm calling it a shrubbery, not a bush.
See? The hints? Is it truthful? I think so. Only one way to find out.
So, is Deceptive Hints a flag in this tournament?
It is possible, yes. So it could be wrong. That is something to keep in mind whenever you get those type of hints. But if you get the one that tells you where the princess is at, or in this case Link, you're gonna fly there and try to find it. It'd be silly not.
Saver so fast you never saw him coming.
Zelda's room, but not this time.
Nope.
Yeah, it was once we saw the meat block. Hopefully that doesn't come into play. But once we saw Ganon's room in another dungeon, the chances of Zelda being in her room were so astronomically low, it's not even funny.
Well, I'm hoping that meat block does not come into play, because meat blocks are just troublesome. And I'm hoping it makes his way eventually to that waterfall to find level 3.
Yeah, unfortunately back in the wrong area, which, I mean, again, you're looking everywhere, so it's no fault of his. It's just, that's such a weird location to go check if you're not doing the whole northeast portion and wrapping around. It's just the way that the seed rolled. Saber just made an interesting but odd play, and it paid off big.
Though I'm hoping that Ganon isn't required, because when you're firing arrows, 1 rupee is an arrow, so Saber would only have 41 shots.
We did hear a roar, which means that Ganon in the southwest is actually a truthful hint.
So we can at least determine truthful hints are on.
Well, I mean, confirmation bias, but yes.
So is it just me, or is Zelda playing a really nice, strong game of hide and seek tonight? And Chessjerk finds level.
Well, it's nice to get level 9 out of the way, but now he's looking for level 3, which is unfortunate. And we need silvers.
Well, I think this is the first seed I've commentated that Ganon is required for once.
And Saber takes a death.
Saber taking a death in level 9? This is breaking news! So, chat brings up a good point, I just realized. Those silvers could be bait blocked.
Oh, what a nasty place to be. Run into the Wizrobe! So if you're ever faced with an orange Wizrobe that's gonna beam you, just run into him. You'll take a heart of damage instead of 4.
The more you know. Take Wizrobe's head wrong, then take their magic.
So now it's kind of a mad dash to find the silvers versus Chessjerk finding level 3 and finishing 4 dungeons.
That's gonna be a tough gap to clear.
Go across the water! No, wrong way!
Ah! And we see these Wizrobes still being nasty on Saber's end. They are not very friendly tonight in this level now.
Yeah, he's gonna check this, because second quest stairs could still be turned on, but it doesn't seem like it is.
So we did find out that we are in a Pepsi seed soon.
Level 9 being a little bit trolly here. Work?
Wait, we never had a coast check.
This is true.
Could it be all along with the silvers trolling us on the coast?
I find it hard to imagine that when they were over, they didn't check into. I bet it was a heart.
Okay, thank you, chat, for the confirmation. I'm just forgetful.
So Saber, you know, normally you would not check these rooms because they're not normally staircases, but there is a flag on that has a 50% chance to make second quest stairs appear, and yes, they can appear in a first quest dungeon. So, you have to check these diagonal staircases because there is the off chance, while rare, that it could be the staircase you need for the silver arrows. They can't? I thought they could. Okay, Jacob, thanks for the confirmation. So wasting time then. Never mind. Okay, not a no east to west. Then I was misinformed. Thank you for the correction.
And Chessjerk. Did Chessjerk get the boomstick or not?
Yes, he did.
Then why did he buy bombs?
Because you cannot use the boomstick to open the caves on the overworld unless an enemy happens to line up in the correct spot for it to explode.
The more you know.
Man, Chessjerk is going to nearly last location, level 3, which is just super unfortunate because it was literally the key to this entire flag set. Very, very unfortunate. Meanwhile, Saber's still just trying to find a staircase here that has the silver arrows in it.
At this rate, the silvers are likely to be meat blocked.
Yeah, I think he got around the meat block, so it's just somewhere else. This has got to be darn close. I think he's seen 5 other staircases. Well, this might be 6. So we haven't even seen an item yet in level 9. It's found most of the staircases. That's always frustrating when you find the 12 that you don't want and not finding the 2 that you need.
Though chat brings up a good point. We've not seen a single Patra tonight in level 9. So where are they hiding?
Well, they could always be shuffled out too.
But we didn't see them in any of the other dungeons we went into.
Well, they didn't explore all of those dungeons either. We didn't see most of level 7. We didn't see a lot of level 4. We didn't see level 2.
We saw some of level 2 on Chessjerk's end.
So Jacober, I have a question for you because you may know this. Why is it on the overworld that sometimes picking up the white sword bomb upgrade fills your bombs and sometimes it does not? Because I've had it both ways.
And these bike likes are just chilling out. Are we ever going to find the silvers?
That you don't know. Well, that's fair. I just wonder, because I picked it up in, I don't remember where it was, but it was a different type of cave. It wasn't like a burn bush. I think it was a bomb location or something. And it just so happened to, no, it was a burn bush on Candle Row, and it refilled it. And it was a different type of cave on the overworld, and it didn't fill it. So I wonder if that maybe has something to do with it.
And we see Saber clipping into a block to avoid damage from those Moldorms. And is able to clear them with no problem. And now we see Saber in a Chevy room just taking out these likes like they're just actual pancakes.
Yeah, Optimus Prime asking in chat why Chessjerk isn't using a recorder. It does take him to the unbeaten dungeons, but the problem is all of his current unbeaten dungeons are ladder blocked. And the ladder is in level 3, which was a dungeon that they started the Triforce with, so they were unable to whistle to it. So right now he is attempting to find level 3 in order to get the ladder so that he can actually finish these other 4 dungeons.
Oh, we just found the red ring on Saber's screen. Not what he was hoping for. I mean, it's still nice, but he was hoping for the silvers. But there can only be so many rooms left in level 9 that Saber hasn't checked.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get Saber, and he probably will. He'll pop up his level 9 map because he loves to do that when he's done, and it will be fully explored, and he will last location the silvers because that's just always what happens.
I don't think we're going to get them in after this race, because for those of you who don't know, we have a game 2 with these 2 players happening right after this at 11:30.
Yeah, they're going to take a short break in between, I think like 15 minutes or so, and then we'll pop back in. This is very likely the silver group. Or not. Maybe he's already been there. This one?
Well, we only have some. Okay, silvers are foul. Now it's time to go kill a pig.
Yeah, I mean, and I bet you in my mind, because I spent the time before the race in Saber's chat, watching him play, and he's freaking out about how he's not good at these flags and whatnot, but he's really interpreted these flags well, and so is Chessjerk. Chessjerk is actually going to find level 3 here, and this is about the last location on the map for him, as we do find Ganon down in the southwest. So it seems we had mixed hints, which means half recruitable and half community. One hit, no big deal. But, you know, it's just understanding the flags and everything, and they've both done a grand job of it. It just, lucking into level 3 really made the entire difference for this seed, and Chessjerk's going to find his ladder here just about the time that Saber Dot does, and it's heartbreaking, but sometimes that's how it works.
And with Saber getting to Zelda's room eventually, or Link's room in this case.
But I'm sure Saber right now is feeling like he's very behind, because he knows Chessjerk is a fantastic runner, as we do get a finish with official SRL time of 49.03, followed by an immediate Chessjerk forfeit. Good game to Saber. Like I said, like K-Tap said, be sure to hang around. We will have a game 2 shortly after this.
So Chessjerk is the winner in my heart for finding that ladder before the dot done.
Yeah, for sure.
And as we know, we have Loser's Remorse. For those of you who do not know, we have a thing called Loser's Remorse in this tournament. So basically, whoever won the match is just going to be one of the flags in their match. Chessjerk has the option to turn any one of them fully on or fully off. So Chessjerk is going to be able to dictate some of the terms for next round.
Yeah, and I believe Chessjerk said we are going to turn on dungeon headers, which was on this time around, but that seems to be one of the more popular options, that or Force Ganon, just so that they know where they're at, because there is nothing more frustrating than having to figure out what dungeon you're in, and if you want to spend time in it or not.
So for those of you in chat, thank you for joining us right now. We will be back at 11:30 or 11:15, whenever their break is done. We do have some other races going on tonight, starting in like 1 minute actually, on some other.
Yeah, let's see what else we have here. We've got, let's see, there was a Lacduke Firebird on Randomania 3. There's a race on Randomania 2. There's a race on SpeedGaming. There are races all over the place, so feel free to go check those. But make sure you come back here.